Hello and welcome to The Rest is Football with Micah Richards, Alan Shearer and me, Gary Lineker. I'm sure you know the names by now. We've read them out enough times. We've all just come off air after working on the Spain versus France semi-final for the BBC. Cracking game it was. I think it's the first really good game I've had in this tournament. Been a bit unlucky so far, but that's all changing now. We'll get onto that properly in just a moment. But before we get into the details of that game and our take on it, I feel it's only right that we check in with Micah and see how he's holding up after the BBC versus ITV match yesterday. And you're coughing and spluttering a little bit.
I'm not coughing and spluttering a little bit. I've just literally got a little bit of
No, he's not. He's farting, coughing and spluttering, yeah.
After England were playing the other day, I was shouting so loud, I've got a problem with my voice. And then my sinuses just feel a little bit bunged up. Is that the right word?
Yeah, bunged up.
Bunged up. And that's it. And you guys won't come near me.
Well, just in case, we've got a big final.
We've got a final coming up.
We've got a final at the weekend, and hopefully it's a final that involves England. We'll wait and see.
Well, hold on, before that, come on. Big Meeks' first final. Are you going to give me
is it?
Yeah, it's the Euros final.
Oh.
The first team.
No, whoa. We can't say first team, guys.
Yes, you can.
Gets me in
It's
all
only-
sorts of trouble, that does.
Does it?
Yes, it does.
Why?
Because I'm not getting ahead of myself.
I heard they were trying to bring other people in.
By the way, we've got a little response from Mark Pougatch after your horrific challenge of him.
Well, it wasn't horrific. I just said I smashed him. It was light-hearted banter.
I mean,
he's
a
obviously
lovely guy.
taking it to
He's a
heart
lovely
if he's
guy,
responded.
Pougas. He's a lovely guy. And he's come in, he's gone, I can confirm, A, it was quite a collision. B, neither of us pulled out of the challenge. Brave. C, I'm fine, and ended up looking back down the pitch towards our own goal. And D, Joel popped the loose ball into the net.
Oh, wow.
You have the right to respond.
No, I don't want to respond to that nonsense. It was all in a lovely manner.
Yeah.
Playing against ITV. But again, I want to mention you guys not turning up. It's pathetic of you.
I don't even know where it was, what time it was happening.
never got an
or anything.
invitation.
No one even invited me.
Well,
Well,
to
not
be
that I
fair.
could have played or would have played anyway.
Yeah, it was under 50, so you know.
Oh, God. There's nothing, I tell you, there's nothing actually good about getting old. Nothing.
There is. Because you
Experience is the only thing, but,
you're like a fine wine, though, aren't you, guys?
well, we've got...
If you was my type, phew,
Really, Mike?
I'd take you out. Definitely.
Would you?
What? The Silver Fox. Fantastic. You've aged magnificently well.
I've gone all sweaty. I've gone all flushed.
Should we talk about the football?
It's also terrifying. It's also terrifying. But speaking of fine wine, we've got a Rioja here in celebration of Spanish performance
España.
and result that was quite something, wasn't it? So, salute.
Salute.
Y felicidades, España.
Pardon?
Congratulations, Spain.
Congratulations.
Can you say that
Come on.
slowly,
Do you not-
please?
You need to learn some Spanish.
I can't even speak English.
Felicidades a España.
Felicidades.
Or you can
España.
say enhorabuena.
Enhorabuena.
That's also
Not Brenna, Buena.
Enhorabuena.
Tell you what, Michael, when you look at me like that, you might have half a chance.
Can you tell him what penguin is in Spanish?
Oh my God.
Penguin.
Good game, wasn't it? Good game.
Great game. What we expected in terms of the Spain team, I was a little bit worried, would they be a little bit more cautious? But they wasn't. Yamal, which we'll get onto a little bit later, and Williams giving the width, Rodri and Ruiz in the midfield, shoring up, Olmo just in front of them. Couple of injuries, as well, suspensions, was it? Carvajal was out.
Yep, Carvajal.
Le Normand.
Yeah.
Was it?
what was it?
Le Normand?
Yes. that's-
Normand. He's actually of French French background, so
Is he
they've got
really?
a couple because Laporte as well.
Laporte?
Don't forget was he was in the French squad a couple of times. Didn't play, so therefore he could. I think he got Basque grandparents, but he'll be happy he made that
I'll
decision
be
now. Won't he?
absolutely buzzing with that decision. But Cucurella He's a
Cucurella.
Cucurella. He's a massive talking point because at Brighton he was in a system. He could play one of the three centre halves at the back. He could play wing back. He would always go forward and join in play, and he looked like a really good player. Went to Chelsea. It's a bit disorganised, and it became a little bit of a laughing stock. But in this tournament, he's been one of the fullbacks.
It just shows you, doesn't it, when a club's in disarray, the players suffer. It's really hard for players to perform in those circumstances. And also, I thought, given the nature of the performance, because he was booed constantly in that game by the German fans because of the handball thing. Not that it's his fault. I mean, it just hit him, didn't it, in his hand? But his arm was like 12 inches away from his body. So you can understand why the Germans are upset because of the nature of the law, because the laws are nonsense. But it wasn't his fault. No, get booed, you can, but
he's had a really good tournament actually.
Really good.
But that's down to the manager, and we spoke a little bit on BBC, didn't we? And you used the word brave. De La Fuente, he's brave.
Yeah.
Did well under 19s, at 21s, and then comes to the
Euros with both.
And then
can he do it with the full?
But even just what he's done with this side, even when we talked about Spain before. You made the point the other day about the Nations League that we should have took more notice of Spain because they won it. They won it.
They weren't favourites in this tournament, were they?
No, coming into it, you're thinking new players, manager, not that much experience at the top level, how they're going to fare. And like Alan said, they've won every game, haven't they?
6 games. No one's ever done that.
No.
6 games
without a penalty shootout.
And they've been impressive. I thought tonight sort of summed them up perfectly. They've got two wingers who are incredible,
special,
Williams and Yamal, and they give them a great outlet, not only with their pace but also because they've got great ability, as we saw with this goal. But in the second half, they had to show a different side because France put them under a bit of pressure. Now I know France were awful in the final third. Other than the goal. And that's been the case for the whole tournament. So they had the one chance tonight, and with a ball in from Mbappe into Moana, he stuck it away. Other than that, France have been dreadful in forward positions.
He had the Mbappe chance, didn't he, when he cut in from the left, which
dreadful,
we were going to show on BBC on our coverage because we were going to do an Mbappe run, but because actually of the Morata thing with the injury, which we'll come to later. We kind of just ran out of time to show that clip. Not that it matters that much because everyone saw it in the game. But for someone like Mbappe, that was a really good chance, wasn't it?
Yeah, but from a Spain point of view, I was saying about they had to show a different side as well, where they had to defend and they had to dig deep and they had to. Rodri was magnificent again in midfield and protecting. Like he was just unbelievable. Yeah. So they've been the best team by far in this tournament. So they deserve, without a shadow of a doubt, they deserve their spot in the final.
Is Rodri better than Rice? Or?
I think Rodri's the best holding player in world football.
Okay. Which I said 3 months ago.
You did, yeah.
Okay.
You did.
Yeah.
We'll know.
I'm just reminding you, that's all.
I kept saying in the game, Rodri doesn't lose football matches.
Yeah.
I mean,
why did we go for France then?
Big moments.
Alan, when you say we, that's not you mean just you two?
Yeah, I mean, just us two. That means realise what that means now.
Yeah, I know exactly what it means. I'm not saying it.
I know it hurts to say it, but
I'm confused to say it.
Whatever happens tomorrow, he's coming out on top in this round.
I can't be beaten.
Again.
I can't be beaten because we've all got the same team tomorrow, but I'm also 2 ahead in the whole tournament. So I'm in the knockout stages, I win.
Yeah.
Sorry, boys. I know you're supposed to be the pundits. But I won't gloat, honestly. Lamine Yamal.
Wow.
I mean,
God.
we had a lot of superlatives, didn't we, for him? But it's just genuinely remarkable, extraordinary. Call whatever word you want to use. For a 16-year-old, I know he'll be 17 on Saturday, but don't stop. And I told you, if he's in the final, it'll be 17. That's a back reference to obviously yesterday's podcast when Alan was being his pedantic self. But his next real superstar?
I wanted to ask you, or maybe both of you, within your 50 odd Alan?
53.
And
Micah.
you're 63.
You're only 53.
How good is this player
Listen,
that you've seen within your life?
It's. I think that's slightly unfair on him. I think we don't want to get carried away, but boy, oh boy, no one's done this. No one's ever done this.
I think it's impossible.
Even
not to
Messi
get
was
carried away.
later. Now Messi's probably different. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be a Messi or Maradona, but he could be. I mean, to do what he's doing at this age, and he's so calm, and he's decision making, and his skills, and the goal. No one's ever done that. I mean, Pele in the World Cup final scored 2 goals in a World Cup final, but he was 17, nearly 18. This kid's 16, nearly 17. You don't want to go too overboard. You've got to be careful with these things, but.
We already have.
I mean, no, we have gone overboard, but you
have to.
You can't go, he's the greatest kid I've ever, because although he might be.
At 16, I think he is.
16. Yeah, well, he's the best 16-year-old I've ever seen. I mean, I remember when Rooney came into things and he scored a similar kind of goal, didn't he? Obviously, remember the name, which is why I did the closing line tonight, because the last part of it was remember his name. Right, I did it in Spanish, that closing line.
What was it? Can you give it us again?
Yeah.
Oh.
Recuerda su nombre. Remember his name. And that's why I did it, because Lamine Yamal, recuerda su nombre. Because it was like the Rooney goal. And although that was a game for Everton against Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Correct. Yep. So this is in the semi-finals of the European Championship.
Exactly.
I just can't get my head around his intelligence in terms of football and the fact that he's still at school. It's just like mind-blowing.
Staggering.
It's staggering.
It is
mind-blowing,
staggering.
stunning, incredible, crazy, but it's beautiful. And it's lovely to see a fresh talent emerging, isn't it? And don't forget, on the rest of his football, we've been talking about him since the very start.
No.
Early in
We've
the
got to
season.
give your credit.
Well, I watch a lot of Barcelona.
Yeah, but we have to give you credit. I don't like giving you credit, but you was the one who talked about him first.
Yeah, Harry over there is telling me he told me to talk about it. And actually, he did mention him. But we both watched Barcelona a lot together, and he's so good. I just hope, because what would happen with Pedri. Pedri played an enormous amount of football, didn't he?
Too many games.
I don't know whether that's happened, but then he's got an injury, and then he got an injury again. But that was one of those
but this
things.
is the conundrum you've got, isn't it? Is that you've got someone who has got an incredible talent. And different managers will come in and manage him. There's no doubt about that. And they'll see his ability, and they'll see that they'll have a better team with him in there, and he can win them games. So there's the problem. Is that will whoever manages him?
Well, maybe they can learn from the lessons of Pedri. I mean, who knows whether Pedri would have got injured anyway? We don't know that. But
the manager of Barcelona next year is not going to be the manager of Barcelona in 5 years.
No.
And it's a really selfish game, football. So the manager will think he can win me games now, then he's perhaps not interested in what happens in 5 years' time.
Yep.
Just the nature of football. So my answer to that is I suspect not.
The Olmo goal was pretty brilliant as well, wasn't it? I mean, the hook, the flick, the finish. I'm glad they gave it to him, because at one point they was giving it as an own goal, and it looked like it might have gone in it probably gone in the corner anyway. And I don't even know why they have to have this forensic thing now. Whether it's even if it had been just hitting the post or something, they're probably taking it off him. It's like.
Can I just ask you in that situation there? I know I'm always asking you questions, but when I'm asking the questions, I'm asking at the top level. So when he's taking the touches, Olmo, is that just his imagination? Is he just instinct or
Don't look at me. You're asking the wrong person.
Ow.
Yes, it is. Man.
No, to be honest, it was a little. I actually can't even say this. But 1990 World Cup semi-final, Germany. A little bit like that. The ball bounced, and I kind of flicked it with my right thigh onto my left foot. It just happens. There's a kind of spontaneous nature to it.
Okay.
But you kind of do what you think you have to do. Most times it probably won't work. But it certainly worked. His was much more skillful.
That's the mad thing about it, when you look back and analyse it, you think you've got like half a second, like a split second to think, am I going to control it? then you got to flick it around. Then you've got your other touch to do.
But when do you think?
it's like-
when
well,
do
it
you
just
think?
happens.
Is
It's
it just
like
sort of?
when you see the position of the ball when it's coming to you, you've got to adjust your body. You've got to do.
So if you take, say, a
only the same as-
bad touch one way, you're thinking, okay, I've got to get it back onto
Then
my
you've
other
got to go
foot.
and do it again. But then his touch was like, his touch was outrageous, wasn't it?
So good.
So good.
It just
brilliant.
happens in the moment, but a lot of times it won't happen. So he could try that 10 times, and it probably only worked once.
It was a great decision. It was the right decision to give him the goal because you can't give that to no goal. It's like, Jesus Christ, come on.
And
It was the right, yeah.
And that takes him to 3 goals. I think there's 5 players on 3 goals now. But at the moment, he leads because he's got more assists than anybody else as well. I think it was Fernando Torres that won a Golden Boot with maybe 3 goals. I think when Spain won the Euros when it was in Ukraine, and I think he won it on assists as well.
Poland, was it Poland and Ukraine? Was it
Poland and Ukraine, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's right.
He'll start again in the final, so don't put it past him to get the Golden Boot by scoring another 1 or 2.
What about Rodri and Ruiz in midfield? Woof.
I tried to tell you guys many months ago, and it's not the fact because Rodri in his first season at Man City actually struggled. Yeah. He got in positions where he couldn't recover because he's not that quick on the turn.
He's quick in his mind.
How he adapts on the field to always be in the right position, always on the half turn, receive the ball. He can quicken the pace and he can slow it down. He's just got everything you want as a defensive midfielder who can play and dictate from that position as well. I just think the amount of games, and I remember earlier in the season, him and Pep didn't have a fallout, but had a little bit of disagreement about, he said he was tired and he had a little bit of a rest, didn't he? And then to keep this pace up and bring his form into the Euros, there was a moment in the game, though, when he was doing
Right at the end.
Right at the end.
And you thought to yourself, oh my goodness, if he's done a hamstring.
But he carried on.
Yeah.
I suspect he got a little bit of cramp, maybe.
Maybe cramp. yeah.
Maybe. And it was at the very end of the game, and he probably thought, oh, I need some cover. I don't know.
It's not even a debate. No, I know they had earlier in the tournament, Chananoglu basically said he's the best holding midfielder. And Rodri, without doubt, it's not even close. Whether it's on the ball, whether it's in the mind, whether it's his passing ability, he comes up with important goals as well. And assists.
And he never loses football matches.
It is actually incredible what he's doing
He's the best.
in football. He's the best, isn't he?
No doubt. I agree with you.
Ooh.
I'm not coming back.
Yeah, I saw an interview he did with Sid Lowe, Spanish journalist. Really good piece. I actually posted it on Twitter because I thought it was really...
I saw it as well. I saw it.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I read it.
Like the intelligence and the way he thinks about the game, and the fact that he used to spend an extra half an hour to everybody else at training, but not training, talking. When he first arrived at Man City and talking about, I presume with the coaching staff and maybe Pep Guardiola, and then about the way he thinks about football. And you see there's a guy that's super intelligent. And Spanish football produces those, don't they? Someone like, Xabi Alonso, for example, who's now gone into coaching, looks like a super brain. Pep Guardiola's another one, of course. So many of them. And then we've got this bunch of coaches that have come from that area of the Basque Country. And Luis de la Fuente is another one of those. There's Iraola, obviously, at Bournemouth. There's Arteta. There's Arteta as well. Lopetegui. And Unai Emery as well, I believe. It's mad how...
That is mad, though, isn't it?
I wonder why they have this kind of strange superpower for being brilliant coaches and thoughtful. But this interview I thought it was really deep and fascinating stuff. And what a player, Rodri. I mean, I know people talk about this all now. It gets a bit silly, this talk about the Ballon d'Or. But at the moment, I suppose they missed out on Champions League. And
penalties, wasn't
it?
But
if they win the Euros, though, I mean, if they win the Euros, I mean, it'd probably be player of the tournament, unless, although it might be the 16-year-old.
In that interview, though, he said he doesn't care about accolades, didn't he?
Yeah, we all say that.
That is very true. That is very true.
Of course you do. I mean,
Do you really?
You don't care about them when you don't win. You say, but when, but
Does
do you
that
think
make a massive
do you think we
difference?
care about our golden boots?
I'm a kid.
I suppose
Of
it's
course,
different
yes.
because we earn them. So it's meritorious because you score more goals than anyone else. But with the Ballon d'Or, it's like people's judgment, isn't it? It comes down to who decides.
And that's journalists as well, isn't it?
It's a mixture, I think, isn't it, of journalists and coaches and people in the game. So I think, that conversation is always an interesting one. So I think fans like that conversation. It's a bit like, isn't it? It's the Oscars. Who's going to win the Oscar for Best Actor and Best Film? And then don't forget you've got Copa America going on. Brazil are out.
So Vinny Jr.
Vinny Jr., who was probably favourite going into that. That will make a difference because they won the Champions League.
What about Jude? Still got an opportunity now.
I was going to come to that. Because if England do perform, and Jude, I mean, he's already had a moment or two, and if they do drag us through to the final, win the competition, and
Exactly.
Bellingham will be a huge contender.
Correct, yeah.
But all part of the fun. Morata. We showed it, didn't we, on the BBC at the end of the game. A photographer, we think it was a photographer, came running.
Security guard.
It wasn't a photographer, it was a security
Huge, I
guy.
think it was.
Right. Well, he ran on, didn't he? Kind of at pace, slipped, and went straight into Morata. And it looked like it was nasty injury. And then you saw him, and it didn't look too bad. But then he was definitely limping at the end. Imagine missing a final for something like that.
There was a definite red card offence from the security guard. He'd come straight in from behind and took him right out.
He did. I mean, that is quite amusing, but it's not funny.
Can you imagine missing the final for that?
No.
Be shocking. But let's hope he's all right.
Yeah. The Rabiot thing with Yamal.
How, before you go into it, how dare he?
But why would you do that?
To a 16-year-old as well.
I thought it was really nasty and unnecessary. I just don't get it.
Can we get context? Okay, what exactly? Because you had him. You read it out on.
I've got it here.
I've
got it here. Rabiot said he has a lot of qualities. He is capable of playing with his qualities at club level as well as in major tournaments without pressure. It is always complicated to manage a semi-final in a tournament like that, but it will be up to us to put the pressure on him above all, not to let him feel comfortable and to show him that to play in a Euro final, he will have to do much more than what he has done so far.
Well, he did.
He did.
Absolutely.
Correct. See you later.
He did reply, I think, via an Instagram post that was quite cryptic, but the thing at the end of it was basically keep quiet until it's over and it's checkmate. And I think he definitely had the checkmate at the end.
And then he skinned him.
It was the skin. He skinned him from the goal as well. It was like
Dropped his shoulder.
Which was the best reply?
That's the
Isn't it?
perfect way to reply.
Yeah, but why is Rabiot picking on a 16-year-old? Come on.
I know it's wrong.
It's just it's quite embarrassing, actually. And he shouldn't even been starting. No disrespect. He's a good player, but Camavinga should have started ahead of him. Way better on the ball.
I agree.
Way more energy. Affects the team, and what he brings to the team is way better than Rabiot. So, touche.
Kylian Mbappe.
Oof.
It's not
Poor
been his tournament, has he?
I mean, I don't know how much he was affected by his broken nose, but really poor tournament. Yeah. Really poor. Didn't show anything, really. Had the cross. Not just him, but the whole of the France forward line in whatever personnel he picked were awful. They got into so many good positions. They're shooting, they're crossing, their desire to get in the box, break a neck to get in there was terrible. So no surprise that they'd gone out. They were really, really poor with the ability that they have. It was. I was getting so frustrated watching it. So
they had so many different options, didn't they? They had Barcola, who I think did well when he come on the game today. They had Thuram, who was sort of in and out of games. Kolo Muani, as
Griezmann.
well. Griezmann didn't start the game.
Dembele.
It's just
They had to bring Giroud on in the end. Who's 37.
It's like, I don't know what.
End of an era. End of Deschamps, do you think, or not?
Out of respect, he should decide what he wants to do after what he's done since he's been in the job and what he's won. It should be him that decides it. My guess is he may give someone else a go.
I think so.
I think for the good of football, and I've heard quotes from Bielsa as well in the last couple of days saying football's being ruined. And you always said you like Spain because they play on the front foot.
Yeah,
and the game is changing.
Football should be entertaining. That is the most important thing of all. I know we all talk about winning, and that is obviously the be-all and end-all of any sport. But people pay good money to watch it. The sport is important. I'm with Bielsa all the way. All the way. I love his attitude, and I love the way Spain are playing, and I love the fact that they've been rewarded for their front foot football. And I think generally the game now, the successful teams, the really good teams, Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, they play entertaining front foot football. And hopefully, Real Madrid, a little bit different, but they still entertaining.
Yeah.
I think you made a really good. I think it might have been you today, just before we did the game and our analysis about the possession over the years from Spain under Enrique to where they are now.
Yeah.
It's actually dramatically come down, but they're pressing higher. They're winning balls in the right position, and of course the two wingers are playing a big part in that. But their transformation from possession-wise to playing front foot football,
It's just helped them,
It's
hasn't
like it's massively helped them.
Just more.
Who's the
direct.
team you most want? Who are the two teams you most wanted to watch in this tournament? So
Spain and Germany.
Yeah,
Same.
agreed. And Austria.
Austria,
Yeah, they
but
were
but they didn't
exciting.
really have the quality to match their
they
energy.
didn't. But boy, were they good to watch.
Swiss were good to watch as well. The
Not
Swiss.
necessarily against England.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the best team in the tournament up to now, by a mile, has been Spain.
Absolutely.
But in everything.
Absolutely.
In scoring goals, in entertainment, in the way they play. They've been the best team, and they deserve to be in the final.
England next. Netherlands. We're not going to. We've talked a lot about this game already. We don't quite know what the starting lineup will be or the system or anything like that. But England-Spain final will be. That was amazing. I'd love that.
I'm not making no predictions.
No, we don't want you to.
You already have. You said England.
Yeah, but he didn't mean it.
Well, I mean, Netherlands.
Yeah.
Just go opposite to what I said.
Yeah. Come on, England.
Yeah. That's what we want. They need to step up when they can step up. Let's hope it's against the
It
Netherlands.
seems like there's a bit more belief in the camp now, though. The
Did you hear
mood has
Gareth?
changed.
Did you hear
Gareth's
Gareth's,
mood has that's something we should talk about.
Because
Yes.
even he said, didn't he, that we weren't right.
Yeah.
We weren't right at the beginning of the
I know.
tournament.
And then that's basically what we said.
Yeah, but he said he didn't listen to the media.
Yeah. And he said, yeah, exactly.
It's a tough job, isn't it?
No, we love him and we love Gareth.
We do.
And we've always spoke highly of him.
I think we've always been fair.
Correct. We don't want to be negative towards them. We just hope they do it. And I'm not going to say bring it home.
No, don't.
Let's just get to the final.
Yeah, let's get to the final and take on Spain and see where we go.
But
Netherlands are going to be difficult.
Yeah, they can still. They need to slip it into fourth and fifth gear though. They're in third at the minute. England, aren't they?
Yeah, so they don't go into reverse. Okay, we'll find out soon. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. Come on, England.